Welcome to Nomad Media Automotive Tales, where we tell vehicle stories, a little bit of history, and some unique and personal experiences. Let's get right into it. Welcome back, and today we've got Mark Schneider here with us again with the 1973 Plymouth Cuda, and I'm sure you've been really waiting on this part two. So here it is, right here. We're going to be talking about his time in Alabama now with the car, which this is what everybody was waiting on. Let's just be real here.
Yeah.
We don't care about the Pennsylvania story. We want to know what happened. No, I'm just playing.
You got a petty blue car, you got to be in the South, right?
Exactly. See,
It's like a homecoming.
it is what it is, man. Like it's at home here.
And like I mentioned briefly, this was a Southern car. So the guy,
Yeah, Tennessee. You said.
yeah, it was at a dealer in Tennessee. I have a copy of the window sticker I'll send.
Yep.
And
So be sure, everybody, you go and check out part one if you haven't up to this point. So it's definitely worth listening to, and part two is going to be just as good. But we're going to have pictures of all this
no
stuff.
pressure there, right?
Hey,
It'll
hey,
be good. It'll be
only
good.
a lot.
So, and the guy had all the different titles and stuff from the state of Tennessee. And I think the car was restored in Kentucky. And I think when he had the car restored, he lived in Concord, North Carolina, which I know is right near the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So, and then for whatever reason, he ended up in Pittsburgh when I bought the car. So this car has spent the majority of its life here in the South, and here it is again, homecoming. So, as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, I had taken a job here in Alabama in 2020 and was sort of living in two cities for a couple of years. But after I rented an apartment for about 15 months, I bought a second home down here in Alabama, which I'm now selling, but that's a whole different story. And so it had a one-car garage, and it killed me, for a year or so not having a car down here. When I go back home to Pennsylvania, I'd drive this and whatever other cars.
I mean, when you have to go home at this point was still Pennsylvania. I'm assuming primary is Alabama, home is Pennsylvania. You go and see this baby, this beauty, man. Like you go home and see this, and you're just like, oh, that hurts me.
It does hurt me. Because I was like, man, the weather's so nice down here. I don't have anything to drive. I got a much longer season. And so I knew I wanted to get at least one car down here. I didn't know ultimately whether I'd stay here or not longer term. But so
well, you're here for now. You're here for good now.
Well,
so
I'm
you're
pretty
stuck.
much here for good now.
Yeah, you're stuck now.
And I'm happy about that.
Because TVMC is going to stop you, and they're going to be like, Lasso,
right?
Nope, you ain't going nowhere.
Well, there's a lot of
You're
reasons I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. But so in late 2021, I brought this. I had a trailer down here. It was before I bought my enclosed trailer, and so I paid them a towing company to bring this car down. And so it was great. I had something to drive here, and so I've been having fun with this car ever since. Of course, I've since sold my house in Pennsylvania, and all my cars are down here, and some of them in this rented garage because I just don't have enough garages. But so I get to drive all my cars down here, and this car gets its share of attention. So as far as stories from Alabama, and you mentioned TVMC, and that's a good lead into really my next story.
Yeah.
The following year in 2022, the story kind of goes, I like Facebook, and I'm always posting stuff on Facebook. And I was posting a video driving this car by the Space and Rocket Center here in Huntsville. You see the big rocket and stuff. And and as I've said in every video, no, I'm no mechanic. And one of my Mopar friends from Pennsylvania said, "Look at your RPMs," because I guess I was showing, partially out the window, but then partially to see the rocket, but you could see the dash. He's like, "You're doing 4,000 RPMs. You can't be driving it like that." And I wasn't really even going that fast. Now, whether any of this had anything to do with the blown engine a couple years prior, I don't know, but
Yeah, probably.
it was shared with me that maybe I didn't have the right rear end gear in this car because it was cranking so many RPMs.
Really low gear is what it would have been, right?
I don't know, low, high, whatever. I was doing probably 60, 70 miles an hour, and it was cranking out 4,000 RPM.
Yeah, higher the number, lower the gear. And yeah, like if you're 4,000 RPM at 60, you're definitely above the highway gears of 323s. You're probably in the fours easily. Now, somebody else out there will probably correct me on this, but it's like
you all know more than me about
you're
this.
pretty low in gears if you're running 4,000 at 60. So, yeah,
I might have been 70. I don't know, but the RPMs. So immediately after that, I started paying attention, and sure enough, the RPMs were high in the car.
Now, I will say, I bet you got up and got like from a dead stop. You probably got up and left.
I still do. This car is a beast with this 416 in it. But so I was like, okay, well, I've blown one engine in this car. I'm not going to blow two. So, I immediately started talking to people, the guy that rebuilt the engine and the guy that restored the Super B, who are knowledgeable, and they were back and forth what gear I should get and so forth. So the TVMC connection is Tennessee Valley Mopar Club is. They put out a monthly newsletter, and then they also, I think it's a Florida Mopar group, but they send like this classified ad section, and we post it on our website.
And TVMC is Tennessee Valley Mopar. Check them out on Facebook or anywhere like that. They also have a very good yearly Mopar show up on Montesano Mountain Park
in Huntsville here.
And they used to do it at the drag strip. So anyone that's a very old time thinks they may have heard it before, they used to do it at the drag strip, and now it's at Montesano. Definitely check them out. I'll link some of the Montesano car shows in the description below, so you can check them out to see what the show's all about and just see some of the guys and see some of the cars and things that show up. Then they'll see you there at the next show in August. It's the first weekend in August, right?
That could be. I should know the day because they've now put me on the board of directors. So
first weekend in August is what I'm going with. But
yeah,
check out their website.
I think that it is.
But check out their website if you need more information on it. It'll be in the link down below. So sorry, I had to interrupt you there.
No problem. So because there's this newsletter that we're sort of a part of indirectly, so I put an ad into that thing, and so the following month it was published. And then I got a call from a guy over here in Rogersville, Alabama, which isn't too far away, saying, I have that gear, because I was told what I was looking for. And I'm like, wow, that's great. And it was crazy. This was like on a Thursday or something. And it just so happened I was going to an event in Rogersville, Alabama the following Saturday. So this guy lived like a stone's throw from where I was going anyway. So I drove out there, got the rear end. He gave me the whole thing. It was very reasonable, obviously previously used part or whatever. And so I had somebody else put it in, a shop in Coleman, Alabama, or I think somewhere in that area. Put it in, and so that fixed that problem. So,
not turning 4,000 anymore?
No. It's not like, even when I'm humming, it's like, even when I'm really getting on, it's like 3,500.
Okay.
Which isn't like low, but it certainly brought it down.
When you say getting on it, do you mean cruising at 70?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you've probably got. Ooh, I'm gonna get into some speculation here. You probably got. No, I'm not, because I'm gonna make myself look dumb.
But well, you guessing the gear?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the gears, but then I haven't even noticed yet. Automatic. Automatic. Okay, so you probably have a 3-speed.
Yeah.
727.
Yeah. I know that much.
So no overdrive. No overdrive.
No.
So, yeah, you're probably going to be like, yeah, I'm going to make myself look dumb. Probably like 390s. You're still probably high or low.
I forget. I'll send you a picture. Took a picture to verify that the number on it was what the guys told me to buy.
Yeah.
So whatever that number is. So
Yeah,
so I'll let you know.
definitely. I'm sure everybody out there wants to know too. So I'm very curious myself. So
That's really the biggest issue I've had with the car since I've been here. There's a couple of little nagging electrical things going on currently, but it's been pretty good. So that was sort of 2022, and so going into 2023, that was the 50th anniversary of the 1973. So it seemed like all of the big shows were featuring the 1973 cars because of the 50th anniversary. So, of course, I had my other car back, the Super Bee, that was covered in episode 38. And I really wanted to take that car around because I was just excited to have it back and everything. But I ended up parading this car all over the place last year because of this 50th anniversary. So I took it to the Coleman, Alabama show. That was in June.
yep.
Then I trailered this sucker back to Pennsylvania in July for Carlisle because they were making a big deal of the 1973. And so I picked up a third place in my class. So after getting 3 consecutive second places when I lived in Pennsylvania, referred to the other episode.
Yep.
Now that I'm in Alabama, I took it up there one time for the 50th anniversary, and I slipped to third place, but that's okay.
Slipping, man. Slipping. Did you not put your tire shine on? No, I'm just playing with you.
It was all the same, but whatever.
Somebody else show up or just somebody
Whatever.
got a
I don't really care.
better day?
As we've talked about, I don't really care too much about the trophies, except for one that we're going to get to in a
Oh,
minute.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. And then I took it to the Mopar Nats in Columbus, Ohio. So it was on the road quite a bit in 2023. Of course, now I own an enclosed trailer. I'm not really into trailer queens. I'd love to drive my cars to all the shows, but not being a mechanic to drive that kind of distance is just too much risk of breaking down or something going wrong. So I trailer. But anyway, so that was fun.
Got to risk it for the biscuit, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm just joking. I fully understand. Like, I think I've mentioned it to you. Or if not, they probably heard me say it many times where it's like, I much rather see people drive it to the show, and it's like, I definitely am going to criticize you a little bit no matter what. That's where I'm like saying risk it for the biscuit. But I fully understand the benefit of like trailering
Yeah.
it to the show, especially when it's far off. So someone told me it was Alton Freeman of Welborn Muscle Car Museum.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, of course, I know who you mean.
He was
He's a nice
telling
guy.
me, which, I don't fault him by any means or anyone like him that's doing something for someone else. But like, he was mentioning how, the cars that he's hauling, one, they're not his, but,
Right.
To get a rock chip or something on a way to a show like that. And then if you are in there for the show, for the winnings and things, and the rock chip stops you from winning something, well,
Yeah.
that really sucks. And it's like, I get it. Like, over the long distance, especially when it's all highway. If it's all highway, I'm like, you're not missing anything. Like I'll say it. I probably sound like a critic of myself now, but like, I get it. Like, there's nothing to be.
Yeah. Well, I'd be more upset about the chip than I would be about losing losing the award. But
Well, I'll say the chip in the sense of like just causing damage to the car.
yeah,
Just road damage.
I hate that. But
Yeah.
by the same token, I want to drive my cars, and I do. There's chips on all these cars that I drive. I mean, it just happens.
Yeah.
But I like.
Those are memories at that point. It's like, I remember when I got that chip.
But what I like more about it than anything about having these cars is just driving them. I drive all my cars all the time.
And it's so different than the modern ones too. So you've got another car outside that
Yeah.
we haven't mentioned anything about because Nobody cares about no modern cars, but he's got a Hellcat sitting outside.
I have a 23
Yeah,
Hellcat.
he's got a Hellcat sitting outside.
Last of the Hemis.
But when you jump into that, or when you jump into this after getting out of that,
It's completely different.
it's a totally different driving sensation. And I bet,
Completely. They're both fun in different ways.
yeah, in my opinion, I'm like going from any modern, much less that,
Yeah.
to this. I'm like, this is where it's at. Like, I mean, not for the power aspect, because obviously that's
or the
got it, but-
handling.
yeah,
but, like,
but this right here is like, I don't know if I'm going to survive this ride, but it's going to be fun.
yeah, they are like super fun. They're you feel every bump, and then if you're going into a turn, you're like, am I going to make this turn?
You're like swinging you all to the sides and things.
But that's
It's
part of
so
the
good.
fun.
It's
you
so
know?
much fun, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Like, I can't wait to do my car and get it in some curves here. I'm sorry.
No, that's
About
good.
to trail off on my car. It's like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. So you got more to lean on to here, man. Like, you got
Yeah,
more.
it takes us to 24 here. So, and World of Wheels, which I know you want to talk about. And so
Yes,
once
I
again,
do.
I would love to have paraded the other car to that show. And believe me, this coming year, I'm taking that car to a lot of shows, and I'm giving this one a little bit of a rest. But the group that I kind of got into World of Wheels with, he said, hey, I kind of have like, because I told him about my cars. He knows about my cars. And he's like, I kind of have a lot of B bodies already. Can you bring the E body, the Cuda here? And I'm like, okay, sure, of course. Didn't really care, but so this one saw some action fairly recently because that was only a month or so ago. Mm-hmm. And as long as I've been into the hobby and stuff, I was never really an attendee at World of Wheels. The guy that restored my Super B, his stunning Roadrunner won at World of Wheels in Pittsburgh. So I mean, I knew what World of Wheels was, but I hadn't really attended to it. So I signed up to take this car to Birmingham in February, just a month or so ago. And I was up in Pennsylvania one weekend visiting my kids, and here it was World of Wheels weekend in Pittsburgh. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go to this thing just because I want to sort of see what World of Wheels is. I mean, I had a good idea what World of Wheels was about, but I hadn't actually attended it. So
What'd you think? What'd you think? I'm sorry.
it was cool. It was a little bit bigger than I think the one in Birmingham, but I mean, it's a bigger city, so I guess that makes sense. Maybe a bigger convention center. But different. I think I like the one in Birmingham better collectively. Of course, when you have your own car in there, it makes it better just because.
Yeah.
So it gave me a flavor for what it was. So when I showed up with this car in early February in Birmingham, I had a good idea sort of what the deal was. And so they staged my vehicle, and this group I went with had somebody that was offering to detail the cars for a fairly modest amount of money, and I was busy that week, so I had this guy detail the car. And anyway, so...
Well, I know I was there, man, and looking at the car while it was there, boy, it looked really, really good.
Yeah, I haven't done much to it since.
There were a lot of cars there that all look great, but like, man, geez, man, I know you're gonna get to it, but you got some recognition for how good this thing looked. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, the color is stunning. The petty blue and the strobe stripe really adds to the car too. So I mean, it's a beautiful car for sure. So anyway, we staged it and had a good weekend, and I spent a fair amount of time there. I had some other commitments that weekend, so I was kind of in and out. So I guess I'll just sort of fast forward to the awards ceremony, right? And so,
right.
I mean, I didn't stay for the awards ceremony for the one I attended in Pittsburgh. I didn't have a car there, so I wasn't really sure what that was all about. Mm-hmm. But they're like, okay, they're getting ready to, they were saying something on the loudspeaker. I knew I had to be there because for the end of the show, because I couldn't take my car before that.
So wait,
Not
did
that
your
I
son
wanted
take
to.
his duster?
Huh?
Did your son take his duster?
No.
No, he didn't take the duster? Like,
No.
Has he started working on it at all since?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I kind of feel you have to watch episode 38 to see that story.
Yeah, go check out the Super B and be sure that you leave the comment that we mentioned in the video. in the comment section. It is very much called for and needed.
Yeah. Of course, he'll watch this video too and be like, "Ooh, you busted my stones again." And
After you go watch episode 38 and you come back to this one, comment the same thing in this comment section.
so I'm glad you brought that up, and I didn't bring it up. But so don't give me any grief. You got to pick on Brian here. So anyway, it's at the end of the event, and they announced that the awards were getting ready to start, and I had one of these folding chairs, and there was a bunch of people convening, and I wasn't really even like paying attention. It was kind of loud because people were getting situated, and they started announcing the awards, and I was like half paying attention.
They thought it was a good joke to send me up there, you know, and like say I won something, and like it turned out somebody else's name was called. And
Yeah, but ultimately it was you.
ultimately it was me. Yeah,
But this was even prior to that.
I didn't hear it either, but yeah, this was prior to that. But I wanted to pick on you a little bit.
Well,
there.
that's okay.
So-
I deserve it. So I'm getting situated, playing on my phone, whatever. People were kind of like, it was in, as you know, like the announcer, the acoustics in that room, or whatever the issue was, it was very difficult to hear. And like it was, the award ceremony was just getting started, and I heard my name, and you know, when you hear your name, you kind of like,
Oh wait, what?
and I'm looking around, like there was a couple of guys from TVMC sitting around me, and they're like, go on, go on. And I'm like, what the hell is happening, right? Because I mean, it's World of Wheels. There are like so many beautiful cars, and so I go up on the stage. They shake my hand. They're like, "Can we take your picture?" And they kind of skirted me off the stage, and I'm like holding this thing.
Show the award. Show the award. Grab it and show it.
I
This is
think
one
they
of
handed me the award, so I think I'm like this, and there's a couple of guys around me, and they took
will
some
be
pictures.
Bigger picture here, so everybody knows exactly what it is. But
And I'm like, I got off the stage. Yeah, and then they took me off the stage, and then I said to these guys, I'm like, what did I just win? Because I mean, I literally didn't hear it, and they said, oh, well, you were the event sponsor, O'Reilly Auto Parts pick of the show. And I was like, what?
that's awesome.
And so, as a novice to World of Wheels, I don't really totally even, as I'm sitting here, know what that means because there's so many beautiful cars. I'm guessing that it's just kind of like the event sponsor walks around. They just happen to like this car the best because, I mean, it is so stunning, I think, that the color scheme and everything, but it's not nearly the nicest car at the show. So I think it was kind of like, hey, I really like this car. We'll pick this.
Yeah, you know, mine was the nicest. It was a show. I'm just saying.
Well, it all depends on perspective.
You know, just saying, mine was the. No, just.
I mean, I didn't even detail this car myself, and it's got little paint chips here and there. So I mean, it is no trailer queen. So I don't know if they concentrate on cars that, hey, these aren't trailer queens. Like, we're going to pick a car that probably won't win anything, but it's still a nice car. I mean, there wasn't a car that wasn't nice at World of Wheels. So
I can't imagine that would be their criteria.
I don't really know what the criteria was, but I was completely stunned. And, you know, I went up on the stage to accept an award that I didn't even know what I had won. And I spent the rest of the night just kind of laughing. And it also got, I guess, second place.
You got such a cool trophy, though. Like, that thing's a cool trophy, man.
Yeah,
like,
I also got second place in my class or whatever. So
Yeah.
this thing tends to like to win second places. But this award, you know, I don't really care about.
That's a cool award to have, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about trophies and stuff like that, but this one was really cool, just considering like what the competition was there, for even the event sponsor to acknowledge that.
Well, there's also the best part of the story, though, which, you know, not to let you neglect it, is, what did I win, guys? I don't know what I won.
Yeah.
I went up there, shook the guy's hand.
It was so hysterical. I went back to set. I'm like, what? And they're like, congratulations. I'm like, I don't really understand this. There's too many nice cars here.
Well,
I mean,
that's
this
awesome,
is a pretty
though.
car, but it is not.
Dude, hey,
How can it be the pick of the show?
It was 100% deserved. 100% deserved.
Wow.
100% deserved, man. Like, because
It was cool.
it's not what you think. Because you've seen this car for,
Yeah.
what, 7 years now of your life?
Yeah, 7 years.
You've been staring at it for 7 years. So it's just, oh, that's my Cuda.
Yeah.
Other people's like, geez, man, this thing is nice.
Yeah, you're right about that. And it is, you know,
outside
whatever. So you know, any award I've won with any of the cars, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. Give me my plastic trophy and I'm off. But
So, from my understanding here, you during World of Wheels, you went to the Pittsburgh World of Wheels
right, a month prior to,
a month prior. It
yeah,
wasn't the same day or same weekend.
no, it was a couple weeks earlier.
Okay,
I
because
guess
I
they
was
must have
like,
been up there and then they came here.
because I
And I
know,
didn't know anything about it. I just on the, I'm like, oh, it's World of Wheels weekend in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go to this thing because my car's going in
in the
Birmingham
upcoming.
next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking there, I'm like, when you were saying that, I'm like, oh, he was in Pittsburgh that weekend. What? Like, how did that work? Because
Maybe I didn't
I was
say
thinking, I'm like, I didn't see you all that much there on the floor, and I know I was there all day, every day. So,
Well, I had another event that weekend in Huntsville, so
oh, so while this was at World of Wheels, you took the Super Bee somewhere
well,
else.
no, it wasn't a car related event. It was something
Okay.
else.
Well, I was making a joke anyways, but I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
it's like, oh yeah, I got
So
enough
I
fun.
was
I'll just
kind of
go to
back and
multiple.
forth, but I don't know. I love the cars and I love going to car shows, but it's almost a welcome thing sometimes for me to have other distractions because I have a very short attention span. I'm kind of like a type A personality. So I think I would have gone a little bit crazy if I was cooped up at World of Wheels all weekend, but I was in and out and I was there for, you know, the important parts like the awards ceremony when I unexpectedly won picking the show, but I'm
Yeah,
still blown away by that, but it's probably like the coolest story I have about this car.
it is a cool story, man. Like I think that's cool. So World of Wheels is a pretty big show too. Like obviously, you mentioned there's one in Pittsburgh. There's World of Wheels in a lot more than just Pittsburgh
Oh
and
yeah,
Alabama. So it's like it's kind of one of those
I
things
guess
that's
it rotates.
nationwide.
Yeah,
I don't know how they really do it. I think it's a every weekend thing. It's in a different
yeah.
spot.
I guess it's the same
I don't
organization,
know.
right?
I would think so.
Because I
I
think
know
it
there's one
was
in Chattanooga too. So
yeah. Because the one in Pittsburgh was also sponsored by O'Reilly's Auto Parts, so I'm
yep,
guessing it's like a national thing.
definitely. So what else do we have here? Anything else? Because I know that
Well, that
we're
brings us pretty much up to date.
and then this the most important thing of all, present day. You get to
Yeah,
sit down with Nomad Media
that's
and talk about your
right.
car and tell the story, man.
I'm
Like
having such a blast. So, you know, we've covered two of my cars.
two more to go because
Well,
this
it
guy
depends how you
is
count.
lucky as lucky gets. So,
We have that one. We have the Hellcat, which you mentioned.
oh
And
yeah,
I don't know how deep you want to go, but there's
I'm
also the
going for.
SRT8, my daily driver. That,
We'll see about that one.
yeah,
We'll see about
whatever.
that one.
You
But I
want to
know
get on.
these two. I'm kind of like,
Your
oh,
viewers might get tired of hearing my story, so I know you got to mix it up. So
we'll wait about 2 or 3 months. How about that? Like, and then we'll be like, hey, they don't remember who you are anyway.
that's fine.
Call me out in the comments. If you get to this point in this video, call me out in the comments if you remember anyone from the previous videos. I probably shouldn't put that in the video.
Ah, why not?
It'd be fun, nonetheless. But yeah, dude. If you don't have anything else to say in terms of stories, I don't mean to rush you out of it.
No, that's it. We're current. That brings us to the current
All right,
time
then,
period.
man. Well, I tell you, I really like part two, obviously for this one. Part two here. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to talk to me twice on the same car.
It's my pleasure.
Especially breaking it up into two videos because it helps me out a great deal. And I love the fact the Cuda, man. You don't fully understand how the Cuda, especially one in this color blue, impacts me because I love it. I'm saying this all wrong, but it's like essentially it's like I really like Cudas, specifically in this blue. And I'm hoping that the person that knows why is watching this video.
I think I know why.
I think you know why too. And that Cuda is coming up at some point in the future too. So hopefully it'll be out here at some point to know why. But I'm like, I see these blue Cudas like this, and I'm just like, I always think back, and I'm like, man, that's a cool car. That's a cool car, and
Well,
I really would like to have one. So
well,
it's like,
I know the backstory on that, so
yeah, we'll hold that off till the
yeah,
appropriate video. But
exactly.
I greatly appreciate you talking to me again, man. I love these stories that you have. I can't wait to hear about this one because it's number 3, and this one is the redheaded stepchild, right? because it is red, right?
It is red.
Probably not the right analogy there, but it is the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah,
So
there's a whole story related to that one too.
yeah,
So
it is going to be fun when I get to sit down and talk to you yet again
okay.
about it.
Well, thank you, Brian.
Yeah. Is there anything that you might want to tell anybody here that may be watching?
Well, as I said last time, collecting cars is not for the faint of heart or pocketbook. So you just have to try to do it as smartly as you can, and
Become friends with Brian Evers, Nomad Media. Like,
yeah,
I'll help you work on your car. So,
yeah, that's really about it for me. So thank you, Brian.
Man,
appreciate your time.
Thank you again.
Thank you, viewers.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time even more.
And with that, if you want to hear this car run, go back and check out part 1, because that's where this 416 is fired up. And if you didn't catch it, it is a stroke motor. The thing sounds good. Like, the thing sounds really good. You're definitely going to want to check that out in part 1. It'll be linked in the description below, along with the TVMC guys' stuff. I'm going to try to get their Facebook link down there as well, as long as I can find it. And with that, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
At the next car show.
There you have it, guys. Be sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.